For today's episode of Under the Tent, we're back in what was the traditional men's and women's locker room, and we're here to show you the work that took place over the weekend. As our members and sport partners and customers know, it's almost never that we close the facility, but yet we had to close the facility from Thursday to Sunday of this last week. And we did so to accomplish a whole host of tasks that would have meant subsequent closures. And rather than doing these periodically over the course of time, we thought it best to just rip the Band-Aid off and do as much as possible to create a limited and hopefully less impactful impact for you, our customers. And we thank you for that. We know this hasn't been easy, and we wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse as to the work that was done during that period of time. So behind me, you can see quite extensive removal of the concrete slab that was the floor of our locker rooms. And the reason we had to cut the power was that encased in this floor are a series of untraceable lines that presented a hazard and a risk to those people cutting. So by turning the power off, we were able to cut this slab safely to make room for the new piping and plumbing that will form the revamped locker rooms. But we didn't leave it there. We looked at a whole host of other things that were scheduled to take place down the road, and we said, let's tackle this all at once. So you're gonna see some images of work done around the hot tub where we did some coring and piping. You're gonna see some work inside the competition pool deck area, quite noisy, dirty, dusty, that we did during that period of time. And then in the basement, we tackled a bunch of plumbing projects. Another piece of work we did during the closure was to do a bunch of piping that was required, and that piping had to be done over the hot tub. So I'm standing here on Monday morning. If you were in the facility yesterday, you would have seen that the hot tub was drained. There was a scaffold erected in that basin to the ceiling above, and then we replaced and added all of this piping to connect to the new mechanical systems. Credit to our team. Monday morning, scaffold was down, entire basin was clean and sanitized. We started filling the pool, heating and treating it so it could be open this morning for our valued customers. One of the comments we've heard from our members and our guests is the pace at which the pools are progressing. And listen, I hear ya. I too would like it to go quicker. But what I do know is that before we can put tiles down, there's a whole host of work that needs to take place to get the pools ready. And that's probably less obvious to those that are not as involved. And so if you take a look over my shoulder, what you see is a series of patching, repairing, bonding, formwork, waterproofing. All of these pieces of work need to happen before we can actually lay down the tile. And my hope is, and my commitment to you is, that when that work is done, you'll start seeing a very quick progress of tiles being laid down as we advance the project. We're on schedule for a delivery of the dive tank end of January, the comp pool end of February, and the teach pool end of March. The teams are working really hard to get that date or those dates met. Part of that was the work they did over the weekend, so while we were closed, they were able to get in here and maximize the hours of work, not having to worry about decibel levels and dust, and just work away at advancing this important critical infrastructure work that's going to make these pools better than ever. So again, very, very appreciative for your patience and your understanding. We know this isn't easy, but our goal is to stay open throughout and to make sure that, notwithstanding these interruptions, we want to ensure that the facilities are here for our customers. We want to make sure that we can keep pools open, we can keep gyms open, we can run group exercise classes, the weight room and the amenities are open. And I know it's not perfect, but we're extremely appreciative, and hopefully we're doing right by you, and hopefully you continue to enjoy the center, and we look forward to talking to you again in our next episode of Under the Tent. Thank you.